Nordonia High School with the Hugh Griffith Memorial Gymnasium for tonight's Suburban League basketball game between the visiting Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers and your Nordonia Knights. The players, coaches, and administrators from both schools, as well as the game officials, are guests of the Ohio High School Athletic Association and are to be treated with respect by all in attendance. Please remember, this is a game played by student athletes. Responsible behavior is expected by all in attendance. The officials for tonight's game are Gerald Carrier, Ivory Smith, and Rick Thompson. Their experience and integrity qualify them to their appointment to this game. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a great country with freedoms like no other. To honor America and all who have served this country to defend those freedoms, please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats, and veterans are encouraged to salute for the playing of our national anthem. Introducing the coaching staffs, Cuyahoga Falls head coach Joe Nowak and assistant coaches Steve Kramer and Emily Morgan. Nordonia head coach Julie Buckler and assistant coaches Matt Simonetta, Matt Spellman, Sandra Spellman, and Malik Billingsley. Now, the introduction of the starting lineups. For Cuyahoga Falls, number 3, Emma Rostowski.
For
Nordonia, 5'9" and senior, number 00, Hallie Majoris. For Cuyahoga Falls, number 22, Mackenzie Kramer. For Nordonia, 5'7" junior, number 3, Ella Corta. For Cuyahoga Falls, number 30, Jenna Roberts. For Nordonia, 6' junior, number 4, Kennedy Silva. For Cuyahoga Falls, number 42, Layla Smith. For Nordonia, 5'7" sophomore, number 10, Taylor Rutt. For Cuyahoga Falls, number 45, Ella Verstowski. And for Nordonia, 6'1" senior, number 11, Maddie Klutz.
Testing. Good.
So whatever I talk will go straight into the broadcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's basketball game, varsity girls basketball game at Nordonia High School. I am William Busse. Will feature the Cuyahoga Falls versus your Nordonia Knights. Maddie Klus and Emma Prutowski up to the center circle to start the game. Testing, testing. Brutowski with it. Passes it off to Roberts. Roberts off to Brutowski again. Brutowski to Brutowski. Brutowski to Smith. Smith to Brutowski. Brutowski to Roberts. Roberts to Brutowski. Brutowski still with it. Maddie Klus steals it. Maddie Klus to Majoros. Majoros to Silva. Root to Klus. Klus back to Root. Root to Silva. Root to Majoros. Majoros with the shot miss. Klus with the rebound. Klus missed shot. Jenna Roberts with the pass in for Falls. Roberts to Ellie Brutowski. And back to Roberts. Roberts back to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski to Smith. Back to Ellie Brutowski. To her sister Brutowski. Missed shot. Brutowski with the rebound. Possession arrow favors Nordonia. Oh, my bad. Possession favors Falls. Brutowski to Brutowski, over to Roberts, and then over to Kramer. Kramer to Brutowski. Brutowski to Kramer. Travel on Kramer. Root. Elagorta with the start. Over to Root. Over to Klus. Back to Majoros. Back to Root. Over to Klus again. Back to over to Majoros. Majoros up for it. Brutowski with Ellie Brutowski with the rebound. Over to her sister, Brutowski. Smith with the miss. Majoros with the ball, over to Root. Free throw for Nordonia. Score at the moment is 3-0. Root misses her first shot. She has one more shot. Root makes her second. It is 4-0 in favor of Nordonia. Roberts over to Kramer. Back over to Kramer. Or back over to... Restart with number 30, Jenna Roberts. Roberts over to Kramer. Kramer over to Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski to Ellie Brutowski. Over to Roberts. Roberts up. Miss. Taylor Root with the rebound. Over to Klus. Over to Majoros. Majoros up for it. Miss. Silva went for the shot and missed. Emma Brutowski up. Miss. Silva over to Klus. Klus to Gorda. Over to Majoros. Over to Root. Over to Silva. Back over to Gorda. Emma Brutowski tips it out of play. Gorda to Root. Root with it still. Over to Gorda. Back over to Silva. And that is out of play. Mary Dunlap in for Kennedy Silva. Root over to Klus. Klus still with it. Klus over to Majoros. Majoros over to Root. Back over to Gorda. Gorda makes it for 2. It is 6-0 in favor of the Knights. Leela Smith has the ball, but then loses control and pushes it out of play. Mary Dunlap to put it in. Jensen Stillick in for Ella Gorda. Taylor Root with the ball. Over to Jensen Stillick. Back over to Taylor Root. Back over to Taylor Root, then to Maddie Klus. Klus makes it for 3. Emma Brutowski with it, over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski up, no good. Mary Dunlap over to Maddie Klus. Klus over to Haley Majoros. Haley Majoros makes it for 3. And Carmela Hack will be going in for Taylor Root. The current score is 12-0 in favor of your Nordonia Knights. Sorry if my play calling will be a little slow. I'm still trying to learn the names. There is 2 minutes and 31 seconds left in the first quarter. Jenna Roberts with the ball. Over to number 35, Taylor Kane. Haley Majoros with the ball, then passes it over to Maddie Klus. Maddie Klus over to Jensen Stillick. Stillick misses the 3. Mary Dunlap touches it out of play. Cuyahoga Falls ball. Jenna Roberts over to Ellie Brutowski. Back over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts over to Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski to number 22, Mackenzie Kramer. Kramer for 3 and makes it. Maddie Klus to Jensen Stillick. Stillick to Majoros. Haley Majoros to Carmela Hack. Carmela Hack over to Mary Dunlap. Mary Dunlap misses for 2. Number 22, Mackenzie Kramer with it, then passes it over to Ellie Brutowski, back over, and then over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts misses the 2. Maddie Kloos has the ball at the moment. Maddie Kloos over to Jensen Stillick, over to Mary Dunlap. Over to Maddie Kloos again. Maddie Kloos over to Haley Majoros. Haley Majoros for 3 and makes it. 50 seconds left in the first period. It is 15-3 in favor of the Knights. Jenna Roberts to Ellie Brutowski. Back over to Jenna Roberts. Then over to number 35, Taylor Kane. Then over to Emma Brutowski. Over to Ellie Brutowski. Over to Jenna Roberts again. Back over to Ellie Brutowski. Maddie Kloos with the tip. It goes to Jensen Stillick. Then Jenna Roberts takes it over. Mackenzie Kramer going for the ball, but Maddie Kloos tips it out of play with 14.5 seconds left in the first quarter.
Kennedy Silva checks in for the Knights.
It is 15-3. Number 35, Taylor Kane, taking it out. Over to Emma Brutowski, over to Jenna Roberts. Over to number 35, Taylor Kane. Kane for 3. Over to Jensen Stillick. Jensen Stillick misses the 3-point shot to end the first quarter. It is 15-6 in favor of the Nordonia Knights. Welcome back. It is the start of the second quarter. The Nordonia Knights take the ball out. Jensen Stillick with the ball passes it over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root over to Elagorta. Elagorta back over to Jensen Stillick. Over to Kennedy Silva. Back over to Jensen Stillick. Over to Taylor Root to Maddie Kloos. Misses it for 3. Jenna Roberts passes it in to Mackenzie Kramer. Back over to Jenna Roberts. Over to Ellie Brutowski. And Kennedy Silva knocks it out of play.
Trista Lee checks in.
Taylor Kane with the pass in. Over to Emma Brutowski. Over to number 20, Trista Lee. Over to number 35, Taylor Kane. Kane misses 3. Jensen Stillick with the rebound. Over to Maddie Kloos. Then over to Taylor Root. Then back to Maddie Kloos. Then to Jensen Stillick. Stillick mishandles the ball.
number 20, Trista Lee. Her first, second.
Jensen Stillick with the pass in. Over to Maddie Cluse, then over to Ella Gorta, then over to Kennedy Silva, then Silva back over to Maddie Cluse. Maddie Cluse up for 2 and barely misses it with a rimmer. Then Mackenzie Kramer with it. Passes it over to Emma Brutowski, and Emma Brutowski has a traveling violation against her. Ella Gorta with the pass in over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root with the ball. Over to Maddie Cluse. Then over to Kennedy Silva. Then back over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root with the ball going up. And good for 2. The score is 17-6 in favor of your Nordonia Knights. Ellie Brutowski with it, then over to Emma Brutowski, back over, and then to Mackenzie Kramer. Kramer up for 3 and makes it. Taylor Root with it over to Jenna Stillick. Back over to Taylor Root. Over to Ella Gorta. Ella Gorta up for it, makes it for 2. 19-9 in favor of the Knights. Trista Lee with it over to Emma Brutowski, then over to Ellie Brutowski. Taylor Kane misses the 3. Emma Brutowski recovers, passes it to Trista Lee. Then Trista Lee passes it to Mackenzie Kramer, and there's another call. Maddie Cluse with the foul. Number 22, Mackenzie Kramer with the pass in. Mackenzie Kramer to Ellie Brutowski, over to Taylor Kane. Then to Emma Brutowski and misses it. Knocks off of Maddie Cluse's hand, out of play. Taylor Kane with the pass in over to Emma Brutowski, then over to Trista Lee, then over to Ellie Brutowski, over to Taylor Kane. Taylor Root with the interception. Taylor Root to Haley Majoros. Majoros up for 3, misses. Kennedy Silva rebounds over to Maddie Cluse, then over to Ella Gorta. Ella Gorta with it, over to Taylor Root. Root up for it, misses. And Taylor Kane with the rebound. Taylor Kane over to Emma Brutowski, then over to number 22, Mackenzie Kramer. Maddie Cluse with the rebound, almost gets it taken away by Emma Brutowski. Trista Lee with the interception over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski with it, over to Emma Brutowski. Then over to Mackenzie Kramer. Kramer up for 3 and misses. Maddie Cluse with it, off of the rebound. Maddie Cluse up for 3. Oh, just misses off the backboard.
Bell ball, possession now favors Cuyahoga Falls. Chloe Dunford checks in for Cuyahoga Falls.
Ellie Brutowski with the inbound to Emma Brutowski, back over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski up for 3, misses. Ella Gorta with the rebound over to Haley Majoros. Majoros still with it. Number 1, Chloe Dunford with the ball, misplaces it. Ella Gorta takes it over to Haley Majoros. Passes over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root going over for Kennedy Silva, misses. Ella Gorta with the rebound, and Haley Majoros tries to get it, but a foul is occurred.
Layla Smith checks in
Haley Majoros over to Kennedy Silva, then over to Ella Gorda, then back over to Kennedy Silva, up for 2, and it's good. Emma Brutowski with the inbound to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski over to Chloe Dunford. Taylor Root with the rebound over to Kennedy Silva. Kennedy Silva with 2. Mackenzie Kramer to over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski to Lila Smith. Lila Smith still with it. Jump ball. Possession. Ball was held. Possession is in favor of the Nordonia Knights. Kennedy Silva and Eligorta are both off. Taylor Root, Jensen Stillick. Over to Maddie Cluse, then over to Mary Dunlap, then over to Taylor Root, over to Jensen Stillick, over to Haley Majoros. Majoros for 3, just misses. Ellie Brutowski with the rebound. Score is currently 23-9. Ellie Brutowski to Emma Brutowski, then over to Mackenzie Kramer. Mackenzie Kramer up for 3, and it's good. 23-12. 23-12 in favor of the Knights.
Timeout called by Nordonia. Full timeout. University Hospital Sports Medicine is proud to be the official healthcare provider for the Nordonia Knights. University Hospital Sports Medicine, your leader for comprehensive sports medicine care for athletes of all ages and levels.
With 30 seconds left in the full timeout that Nordonia has taken, the current score is 23-12 in favor of your Nordonia Knights. There is 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first half of play. Jensen Stillick with the inbound, then over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root driving down the court. Over to Maddie Cluse. Over to Mary Dunlap. But a call. Mackenzie Kramer with the inbound over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts over to Lila Smith, but passes it straight to Jensen Stillick. Jensen Stillick with it over to Taylor Root, back over to Jensen Stillick, over to Maddie Cluse. Maddie Cluse up for it, hits the rim and out. Emma Brutowski over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts still with it. Jenna Roberts still holding it. Over to Ellie Brutowski. Then over to Mackenzie Kramer. Back over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts still with it, but there was a traveling call. 1:44 left in the first half. Score is 23-12 in favor of the Nordonia Knights. Number 20, Carmela Hack over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root with it as she passes half court over to Maddie Cluse. Maddie Cluse still with it over to Taylor Root. Over to Carmela Hack. Over to Maddie Cluse. Over to Haley Majoros. Majoros up for 3 and airballs it. Kennedy Silva in for Mary Dunlap. Number 22, Mackenzie Kramer in inbounds the ball to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts now passing half court. Jenna Roberts attempting to pass it to Mackenzie Kramer, but Haley Majoros knocks it out of play. Mackenzie Kramer with the ball. Passes over to Ellie Brutowski, over to Emma Brutowski, then over to Jenna Roberts. Mackenzie Kramer for the three, misses. Emma Brutowski rebounds, then over to Mackenzie Kramer. Mackenzie Kramer makes it for two. Score is 23-14 with 54 seconds left in the first half. Carmela Hack over to Taylor Root, back over to Carmela Hack. Over to Maddie Cluse. Over to Kennedy Silva. Kennedy Silva up for two, misses off the round. Carmela Hack rebounds, then over to Haley Majoros, then back over to Taylor Root. Taylor Root with the miss. Maddie Cluse with the rebound. Maddie Cluse again with the rebound. Emma Brutowski with the second rebound, then over to Ellie Brutowski. Jenna Roberts misses the pass from Ellie Brutowski with 18.7 seconds left in the first half. Carmela Hack with the inbound. Carmela Hack into Taylor Root. Taylor Root still with the ball. 2 points for Taylor Root, and she is on the free throw line. It is 25-14 in favor of the Knights.
Her first, team's fourth. Taylor Root at the line, one shot.
Taylor Root makes her one and only shot. It is 26-14. Emma Brutowski over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts back over to Emma Brutowski. 5 seconds left. Over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski drives up and misses. 2.2 seconds left in the first half.
Foul is on number 4, Kennedy Silva.
Ellie Brutowski up to the line for 2 shots.
Ellie Brostowski at the line, 2 shots.
Ellie Brutowski misses her first shot. One more shot. 2.2 seconds remain on the game clock for the first half. Ellie Brutowski with the shot, and she makes it. 26-15. Carmela Hack over to Haley Majoros, and that is 0 on the game clock.
At the half, Nordonia.
It is 26-15 in favor of the Knights at the end of the first half.
Like behind the scenes clips.
Yeah. Looking for lots of stuff. Just have to experiment. Oh darn.
Right.
Back on to the last.
And welcome back with 25 seconds left in the halftime break. I would like to welcome in Ben, who has just arrived. How was the drive over, Ben? Slow?
Even though I live like not that far away from here.
Hey. Well, let's see. You missed a very exciting first half. The scoreline might not show it, but it was an exciting first half. Lily Smith over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts still with it. Over to Ellie Brutowski. Oh. Haley Majoros with the knock. Haley Majoros up. Gets shoved for 2 shots at the line. Ben, I know you saw the very end of the first half. What did you think of the last couple minutes?
So far,
As Haley
I'm
Majoros
thinking-
makes one.
we're doing really good. So far, we're doing good. But from what I've seen, what's the other team we're playing? Actually,
Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls.
Yes.
They could, if they actually pushed, they could probably pull this back to maybe a close game.
I agree. Mackenzie Kramer up for 3 and makes it off of the backboard. It is a 9-point game, 27-18 in favor of the Knights. Maddie Kloos with the ball. Drives up to the net and does another rimmer and misses. Goes out of play, and Jenna Roberts will pass it in to Ellie Brutowski. And Ellie Brutowski passes it over back to Jenna Roberts, back to Ellie Brutowski, then over to Emma Brutowski, then over to Ellie Brutowski, back over to Emma Brutowski, over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski still with the ball. Ellie Brutowski over Taylor Root. Jenna Roberts tries to tap it, but misses, and it goes out of play. Ella Gorta over to Maddie Kloos. I don't know if you noticed, Ben, but it looks like there's a set of twins on Cuyahoga Falls tonight.
I know. I heard the last names, and it seems so.
Yeah.
But there are some kids at the school who have the same last name, even though it's a really, really strange last name, and they're not related at all.
And that is actually the case. Ellie Brutowski is a sophomore, while Emma Brutowski is a senior. So it just turns out that they are just siblings, not,
Ooh. Seems like,
Oh, wow.
Seems like
Taylor Root
yeah.
got knocked up a little bit.
Looks okay, though.
She keeps holding her arm every so often, so that will be something we'll have to look for as Ellie Brutowski passes it into Jenna Roberts to resume play. As she passes it back to Ellie Roberts and then back to Ellie Brutowski, then over to Jenna Roberts, then over to Ellie Brutowski, then over to Lila Smith, back over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts up, misses. Kennedy Silaba miss with the rebound over to Taylor Root, then over to Maddie Kloos, then over to Ella Gorta. Ella Gorta over to Haley Majoros. Majoros up for it and misses. Maddie Kloos with the rebound, and then Haley Majoros up for 3 but misses. And there was a foul called, but it was not in favor of the Knights. Or not in favor of the Knights. It went against them, actually, as Emma Brutowski went with the ball over to her sister, Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski over to Jenna Roberts, then over to Lila Smith. Lila Smith over to Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski still with it. Passes it over to her sister, Ellie Brutowski, then over to Lila Smith. Back over to Ellie Brutowski, then over to Mackenzie Kramer. Mackenzie Kramer up for it and air balls. Maddie Kloos with the rebound off the air ball, still with it. Over to Ella Gorta. Ella Gorta up for 2 and makes it. It is 29-18 with 5 minutes left as Ellie Brutowski drives down the court over to Mackenzie Kramer. Mackenzie Kramer hits the rim as it gets tipped from a pass from Taylor Root heading over to Ella Gorta. Lila Smith up for 3, misses. Ella Gorta with the rebound over to Maddie Kloos. Maddie Kloos still with the ball. Over to Haley Majoros. Majoros with a little slip, but keeps her 1 foot on. Over to Ella Gorta, then to Maddie Kloos. Misses the 3, hits the top of the backboard, and out of play. Interesting game so far, Ben. Just very low scoring, I would say.
It's only been
not even 4 minutes.
Not
and
even 4 minutes, and it's
there's
only been
barely
like
been
2 shots.
Yeah, there's only been like a
Well,
max
there's
of
been more
4
than 2
points.
shots. 2 buckets. let's just
There's
say.
been about 4 points in total in this second half as Mackenzie Kramer with it over to Emma Brutowski, then over to Jenna Roberts. Back over to Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski over to Ellie Brutowski, and it gets tipped off of Kennedy Silva for a Cuyahoga Falls pass throw-in. Or not necessarily a throw-in. What would it be considered? A toss-in? Pass-in?
A
Something like that? As
serve?
Lila Smith misses the layup.
I guess it could be
Servin?
a serve, maybe.
I'd say
I'd say
pass-in.
passing, yeah.
Pass-in sounds more basketball.
Yeah, serving sounds too
Sounds,
Tennessee.
yeah. A serve kind of feels like a volleyball or tennis, yeah. Taylor Majoros with the steal over to Ella Gorta. Then to Maddie Kloos. Maddie Kloos with the ball. Hands it to Haley Majoros. Then back to Maddie Kloos. Over to Jensen Stillick, yes. Haley Majoros up for it for 2. Hits the side of the rim as Ellie Brutowski tries to push it out. Or, not Ellie Brutowski. And that is out on Ellie Brutowski. Sorry for the mix-up there, folks, but Jensen Stillick was trying to shoot the 3 and missed it. Maddie Kloos with the pass in. See, yeah, that does sound right, Ben.
Sounds right.
Kennedy Silva with an easy layup and hits the side of the rim.
I mean, I can't blame her. I can barely do layups when I'm right under it, let alone any other shot.
But she was fouled, so that's good for Nordonia's
Well,
sake.
it's not good, but
It's good for Nordonia's sake
yeah.
because they can increase the lead by 2 because she didn't make the basket. Because if she had made the basket, she would have only got 1 shot. As Kennedy Silva made both for a new score of 31-18 as Mary Dunlap goes in for Kennedy Silva. Emma Brutowski passes it into Jenna Roberts as Jenna Roberts back into Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski with the easy layup misses. Maddie Kloos with the rebound and Maddie Kloos with the layup for 2. It is 33-18 in favor of the Knights with 2:50 left in the third quarter. Jenna Roberts with the ball over to Emma Brutowski. Cuyahoga Falls players trying to open up as they pass it over to number 30, Jenna Roberts. And Jenna Roberts tries to pass it to Mackenzie Kramer, but gets mixed up, and the ball is in the hands of Maddie Kloos over to Haley Majoros. Majoros tries for 3, misses, takes her own rebound, and makes it for 2. Emma Brutowski over to Jenna Roberts. Jenna Roberts over to Taylor Kane. Kane over to Trista Lee. Then over to Jenna Roberts. Over to Emma Brutowski. Tries to make a layup, but Mary Dunlap's there to say no and takes the ball. Mary Dunlap passes it to Jensen Stillick, then over to Maddie Kloos, then back over to Haley Majoros, then over to Ella Gorta, over to Mary Dunlap, over to Jensen Stillick, over to Haley Majoros for 3 and hits the backside of the rim and goes over to Emma Brutowski, over to Mackenzie Kramer, then back over to Emma Brutowski, passes it over to number 20, Trista Lee, and Mackenzie Kramer with the rebound and tries to go for the layup and misses, but gets fouled in the process.
15, Jensen Staley. Her first, the team's third. Mackenzie Kramer at the line.
Mackenzie Kramer Can I speak tonight, Ben, or no?
Apparently not.
At least when saying this name. Mackenzie Kramer misses her first shot at
I probably
the
would
free
have said
throw
creamer.
line.
So
And she misses her second one as well, and Mary Dunlap with the rebound over to Taylor Root, who seems to be doing much better on her right forearm. As Taylor Root misbounces it, and it goes out of play. Trista Lee with the inbound. That sounds like a good term as well, Ben. Over to Lila Smith. Yeah.
pretty sure that's actually what it's called.
And Lila Smith overpasses Mackenzie Kramer. Just an unfortunate pass right there.
Overestimates how close she is.
Just a little bit there, Ben. As Carmela Hack passes it into Taylor Root over to Mary Dunlap. Haley Majoro is calling for the ball, but Mary Dunlap doesn't see it. Over to Kennedy Silva. Over to Taylor Root. Over to
Hot
Haley
potato, hot
Majoros.
potato.
Over to Mary Dunlap. Mary Dunlap for three hits the backside of the rim and gets fouled. And a Falls player gets fouled, and it looks like Trista Lee will have the inbound.
Foul is on number 20.
Current score is 35-18 with 44 seconds left. Trista Lee inbounds it to Mackenzie Kramer. Mackenzie Kramer to Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski with the layup with 30 seconds left. Mary Dunlap with the pass into Taylor Root. 26 seconds left in the third quarter. Over to Haley Majoros. Over to Taylor Root. Mary Dunlap's open, but Taylor Root chooses to try and go and misses.
Foul is on number 20, Trista Lee.
And Trista Lee fouls Taylor Root. Carmela Hack for the inbound to Kennedy Silva. Kennedy Silva over to Mary Dunlap. Back over to Kennedy Silva. Over to Mary Dunlap again. Mary Dunlap up for it and makes the layup 37-20 with 5 seconds left in the third quarter. Trista Lee tries the 3-point shot.
You said
and
third quarter so angrily.
I know.
Third quarter.
I don't know why. At the end of the third quarter, it is 37-20. There is a 1-minute break in between the quarter.
You know, I was literally just in this gym like an hour or two ago, and there were badminton nets all up, and
Yeah, I actually found some badminton.
yep, that sounds about right.
So
We won 2 games, lost 1, so
not bad, not
feeling
bad.
pretty good. Yeah, of course.
66% win ratio. That's good.
Yeah, I managed to cut myself the other day with the padded end of the badminton racket.
That's just. Funny
I don't
right
know
there.
how to. I don't know how I did. There's no sharp end, no edge I could cut myself on. It was curved. It's like cutting yourself on a basketball.
That's just a funny one there.
And then I ended up hitting myself with the racket again today, trying to save a serve.
This is a very close game, Ben. I feel like if the Knights make a few mistakes and Falls
That
takes them in for the basket as
Yeah.
Carmela Hack inbounds it to Taylor Root, that Falls could honestly
Definitely take
come
this
back
back,
and make
yeah.
this a very interesting game as Taylor Root passes it to Ella Gorta, who goes over to Kennedy Silva. Oh, Maddie Cluse, and Maddie Cluse makes the layup. Trista Lee over to Emma Brutowski, over to Taylor Kane. Taylor Kane back to Emma Brutowski. Over to Trista Lee once again. Trista Lee back over to Taylor Kane. Taylor Kane for the 3 and hits the rim. Mackenzie Kramer with the rebound for Falls. Mackenzie Kramer over to Trista Lee. Over to Emma Brutowski. Maddie Cluse tips it. Carmela Hack rebounds it over to Taylor Root. Kennedy Silva tries to go up for it, but misses and gets fouled in the process. Taylor Root, not Taylor Root, I'm sorry, Carmela Hack with the inbound for the Knights.
Checks in for Cuyahoga Falls.
Kennedy Silva over to Ellie Brutowski, over to Maddie Cluse. Back over to Kennedy Silva. Kennedy some moves over to Taylor Root. Back over to Ella Gorta. Ella Gorta for three hits the side of the rim. And Kennedy Silva hits the backside of Emma Brutowski's head and gets fouled. Emma Brutowski passes it into Ellie Brutowski. Over to Taylor Kane. Over to Mackenzie Kramer. Up, hits the backboard and comes off. Jump ball and possession is in favor of Falls.
You know, I never understood what a help ball was.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
As
Never been a
Lila
foul in
Smith
any of my
passes
games.
it over to Taylor Kane. Over to Mackenzie Kramer. Up for it. Hits the rim and goes off. Emma Brutowski with the rebound. Over to Lila Smith. Lila Smith for three. It is 29, my bad. 39-23 with 6:15 left in the game. Ooh. And it looks like there's a foul on there's another foul on Kennedy Silva. Emma Brutowski to Ellie Brutowski for the inbound. Over to Taylor Kane. Taylor Kane over to Lila Smith. Lila Smith over to Ellie Brutowski. Over to her sister Emma Brutowski. Then over to Taylor Kane. And she gives it back to Ellie Brutowski. Passes it over to Emma Brutowski. Emma Brutowski tries to go up, but gets fouled in the process, but does not make the basket.
Yeah.
Maddie Cluse with the foul. Looks like it was a shove on Maddie Cluse, I believe.
Sounds about right.
Emma
You know, I used to
Brutowski.
think that the person who fouled them wasn't allowed to stand there. But then I
Never
realized
know.
that that was just kind of dumb.
Yeah. Emma Brutowski with her second and makes it.
Sinky dinky pinkety drinkety.
Brutowski. Brutowski. Maddie Cluse with the ball and Emma Brutowski.
She was dribbling that ball very viciously.
First, second.
Emma Brutowski with the foul on Maddie Cluse. Maddie Cluse over to Ella Gorta. Over to Taylor Root. Over to Maddie Cluse. Maddie Cluse for two. And Maddie Cluse makes it 41-24 in favor of the Knights and extends the Knights' all-time points leader total for the Lady Knights basketball. As Mackenzie Kramer's with the ball, tries to go for three. That did not look like it went in, even though it hit the net. I think it just hit the side of the net.
Yeah, it looked like it just hit the side of the
Maddie
net.
Cluse goes for three and hits the backside of the rim. Unfortunate there for Maddie Cluse as Emma Brutowski takes the ball over to Ellie Brutowski. Over to Lila Kane, over to Lila Smith, then to Taylor Kane. And Taylor Kane makes it three. As Maddie Cluse passes it to Taylor Root. And Taylor Root mishandles. And it goes out of play for a Falls inbound. Emma Brustowski over to inbound it to Ellie Brustowski. Back over to her sister Emma Brustowski. Over to Lila Smith. Over to Mackenzie Kramer. Ella Brustowski misses the 3-point. Kennedy Silva makes... Oh, wow. Kennedy Silva makes the rebound, passes to Haley Majoros, and Ellie Brustowski steals it from Haley Majoros. Ellie Brustowski passes it to Mackenzie Kramer, and Mackenzie Kramer misses the layup. Emma Brustowski rebounds it, passes it to Ellie Brustowski, over to Mackenzie Kramer, over to Lila Smith, and Lila Smith misses the 3. Maddie Cluse, or Taylor Root tried to rebound it, started to go off. Ellie Brustowski tried to get it, and Maddie Cluse grabbed it before it could go out of bounds and pushed it back onto Ellie Brustowski's leg, and it caused it to go out of bounds for a throw-in for the Knights. 41-27 left in the game. It's only a 14-point lead.
I don't know how you counted that so quickly. I was still trying to process what you just said. It takes me about 10 seconds to remember what 12 plus 3 is.
How do you know? Takes 10 seconds for you?
It literally just took... At first that was a joke, but now it literally just took me like 10 seconds to remember what that was.
12 and 3 is 15.
It took... It
Or
does judge me.
36. Or 4.
Huh?
12 plus 3 is 15. 12 times 3 is 36. And 12 divided by 3 is 4.
You forgot about minus. 12 minus 3 would be
9.
9. I don't know why. Let's forget that ever happened.
Oh, and then don't forget the negative numbers, too.
Oh, boy. Not those. Sigh. Jabra.
Looks like Jensen Stillick. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. That would be bad, even with being from Nordonia. As she passes that in to Taylor Root. Taylor Root with some moves, goes up for the layup, and makes it. It is 43-27, 16-point lead.
Ooh.
Oh.
Who's that?
And Jensen Stillick gets knocked to the ground somehow. I did not see what happened.
Yeah, I think she just tripped on her way over there. But,
she did?
Yeah, you pronounced her name right.
All right.
At least from what I know.
Mary Dunlap checks in for Kennedy Silva.
And it looks like Taylor Root also fell as well.
Yeah, but she didn't fall as hard as that first time, though. As Mackenzie Kramer's with the ball, as she tries to pass it over to Lila Smith. Lila Smith over to Jenna Roberts, but Jensen Stillick intercepts the ball over to Taylor Root, over to Mary Dunlap, over to Haley Majoros.
Hot potato.
Haley Majoros up for 2 and makes it. It is 45-27.
That is
18 points.
Almost double the score.
Yes.
We're approaching double.
As Emma Brustowski passes it over to Gianna Roberts, over to Ellie Brustowski, over to Mackenzie Kramer, over to Emma Brustowski. Tries to do another over-the-head layup like she did in the first half, but missed. Maddie Cluse with the rebound. Maddie Cluse with some really good
moves,
skills.
Yeah.
Moves.
I can't even pass it through my leg.
Whoa!
Wait, what just happened?
As Emma Brustowski looked to almost elbow Maddie Cluse near the neckline. Like, right about there.
You guys can't see, but he was very close to actually cutting my neck.
It was not a cut, though.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like hitting my neck. Words are hard.
as it's inbound to Taylor Root. Mary Dunlap up for three, but misses it. Hits the backboard. Emma Brustowski with it. Over to Lila Smith. Ellie Brustowski. Over to Lila Smith. Then up for three, misses. Emma Brustowski tries to go for it and misses.
Foul is on number 11, Maddie Kloos.
And Maddie Kloos fouls again.
The 8th team foul. Emma Brustowski at the line.
And now you are correct. She is not over by the bucket. So
what now?
Maddie Kloos just fouled, so she's now over here.
Took me like 5 seconds.
Emma Brustowski misses her first free throw, but makes her second. It is now 45-28, 17-point lead. No, sorry. 13-point lead. No, 17's correct. I'm sorry for that.
It was 18
Haley
before,
Majoros
but
tries to go up for it, go for three, but misses, and Mary Dunlap rebounds it for two. Number 32, Gianna McMichael checks in for Nordonia. Jenna Roberts over to Emma Brustowski, then over to Ellie Brutowski. Ellie Brutowski tries to go for two, but misses. And Emma Brustowski tries to go for it, but misses. And it was called for traveling. So Mary Dunlap, Maddie Kloos just got a standing ovation as she walks off the court. That looks like it will be the end of her night. Mary Dunlap over to Taylor Root with 1:10 left in the game, and the score is 47-28. Taylor Root over to number 1, Riley Markson. Over to Jenna McMichael. Oh, hits off number 10. Number 10, Adriana Bando. And Mary Dunlap hits it for two. Ella Brutowski. And a timeout is called by Cuyahoga Falls for 30 seconds. So number 1, Chloe Dunford in for Cuyahoga Falls. Number 32, Emma Lois in for Cuyahoga Falls. Number 23, Nicole Organisak. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. In for Falls. Number 12,
sounds like you pronounced it
Alona
right.
Little in for Falls, and number 10, Adriana Bando in for Falls. While Mary Dunlap, Jensen Stillick, Gianna McMichael, number 1, Riley Markson, and number 22, Macy Taylor in for Nordonia with 35 seconds left in the game. Number 10, Adriana Bando over to number 12, Alona Little, and looks like number 32, Emma Lois missed. Mary Dunlap with the rebound over to Jensen Stillick. Back over to Mary Dunlap, but gets shoved. Foul.
No.
On number 10.
Foul. Never heard of that number before.
Sorry, Ben. Sorry. Foul on number 10, Adriana Bando. Jensen Stillick up for, I believe it was one shot? One shot, I think.
It was one shot.
With 16.4
yeah, you
left.
could tell by them all crouching, getting ready to block.
The score is now 50-28. Oh, it was 2 shots.
Oh, it was 2. Everyone messed
That's
up.
okay, though. We'll take it. Jensen Stillick makes
we're
both.
not going to complain.
No, we won't complain. Number 12 passes it into number 1. Back over to number 12, up for 3, and hits it off the rim with 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is the game, folks. So at the end of regulation, the final score, Cuyahoga Falls 28 and your Nordonia Knights 51.
I don't know why, but I feel the sudden urge to say game from Super Smash Bros. When you finish the game.
game over. Yeah.
Snake.
Recapping the
Snake.
score of tonight's game.
Snake.
Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers.
And Cuyahoga Falls quickly left the gym.
Wow, they like evacuated for a fire drill.
It looked like a fire drill.
It kind of
almost.
did, yeah. Except when in a fire drill, they tell us to get in a straight line before we leave the door while the fire's nipping at our heels,
Score for Cuyahoga Falls.
which I never understood.
With
Mc-
14 points.
Mackenzie Kramer leads Cuyahoga Falls with the most points with 14.
Kennedy Silva, 6 points. Taylor Wood, 8 points. Maddie Kloos, 9 points. Mary Dunlap, 6 points. Jensen Stalick, 2 points. And the leading scorer for the Knights this evening, Alec Majoris with 14 points.
And your Nordonia Knights leading point scorer for Nordonia is Haley Majoros with 14 points.
Let's give these ladies a
We would like to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's recording of the Nordonia Knights girls varsity basketball game against Cuyahoga Falls. Thank you.
Go Knights.